Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week preview show presented by Mercy. They're the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Missouri Valley Conference with head coach Cuonzo Martin. I'm Harry Schroeder, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. on your local Gray Media station on Matrix Midwest here in St. Louis. The Bears will be entertaining the Southern Illinois Salukis. And Coach, you guys just played them. How weird is that you are turning right around and taking on Southern Illinois?
I think it's the first time I've ever experienced it, but I like it. I mean, scout report, you know what you're doing. It's competitive. I like it. It feels like the NBA, so I like it.
Welcome back to the league once again. We've talked a couple of times back in the Missouri Valley Conference. What does that mean to you? I know you had a great track record in the league before.
I mean, it's a tremendous honor because you don't take any job for granted. I mean, so it means I did some good things in relationships here at Missouri State for them to give me another opportunity. So I'm grateful for that. It's always been a good league, in my opinion. You add some teams in it. I enjoy the competitive spirit. I enjoy the addition of new teams. You hate to see teams like Wichita State and Creighton leave because those are phenomenal programs, and it brought so much excitement. But it's happy to be back. I'm excited and continue to grow and get better as a team.
You guys have struggled out of the gate in league play, but you had some terrific non-conference wins. And so you're juggling all of that. How do you keep the guys focused and maybe even confident?
Well, I think the thing you continue to grow in life. I mean, just growth. I mean, when we talk about difficulties, hard times, hardships, setback, whatever it may be, you got to continue to fight his life. I mean, and we've been right there, man. Just a matter of getting over the hump. And I think more than anything is getting over the mental hump. Not that you're discouraged thinking you won't win the game, but just getting over those mental breakdowns, a defensive stop here, a turnover here, all those little things, man. And I think the other thing is finding ways to make sure our key guys stay healthy to be on the floor. And because injuries here and there to key guys, it makes it tough on us. Our margin for error is thin at that point.
When you take over the program and then you've got to rebuild the roster, talk about the building of cohesion and the way this team is progressing in that regard.
I think they continue to get better. Sometimes you can't see success via loss, but I think guys will continue to grow and continue to get better. And I think when you're taking, it's the first time I've ever taken over a program where you have 15 new guys. I mean, sometimes it's six or seven, but 15 new ones. So now you're trying to grow in continuity, togetherness, camaraderie, all those things that makes a great team. And I think our guys have been great from that standpoint. And then what happens is you start navigating through the season, as we all know as a staff. Then the scouting report presents itself. So now all of a sudden they start defending you differently. You got to make those necessary adjustments, but you got to continue to get better, get the guys that aren't playing early to get them playing late. So it's just a lot of growth and a lot of skill development, and that part never stops.
Having Chase play with you this year, how much fun is that for you?
I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, it's exhausting, all those things. And I say that in a good way, because he's my son. You want to see him do well, but you're also coaching the team. But he's accountable. He works extremely hard. He's a good guy. He's a teammate. All those things, man. I never wanted to do it because when you hear stories for so many years, I never wanted to lose a relationship with my son. Just like if I was coaching my other son or my daughter, I never wanted that to happen through a sport because I know the competitive spirit and nature that I approach the game. But he's been around me long enough to know and understand. I mean, Dad is who he is, and I want to do it at a high level, compete at a high level, play as hard. I mean, again, he's accountable just like every other guy. But it's been a blessing to have him with me, man. Because again, as an adult, you never know when you'll get these times again because he'll move on with his life.
Folks in St. Louis remember you from way back when. Do you get back to the East Side very often?
Yes, I do. You know, it was interesting, and I can't remember her name, but she said it was a lady that came to the game. We played at Southern Illinois, and she gave me a bag, and it was probably 400 or 500 articles from the time I was in high school to Purdue up until now, and she kept it. It was before the game, and man, it was an emotional moment for me. It's like, wow. She said, I've been following you for so many years. It's been a pleasure following you. I've always enjoyed watching all these things, man, because, when you're going, you're just going. You're a young guy. You're trying to find your way as a college player, as an adult. You're coaching, you're just trying to find your way. You're trying to win, trying to compete. And it was a great feeling. But the other part is, and I don't want to make this to be a big deal. I want this to be a topic. But she wasn't an African-American woman. She was a woman, a white woman. And it just, that's what we're really about as people. That's what we should be about. And it made me feel good, man. She said, I've just been following for 30 years. I said, man, the other part, I'm getting old. So I guess that's a good thing too.
What do you remember about playing those big high school uh, things in St. Louis when they would bring the teams from around the country in and you guys would play?
Well, we played in that 7-up shootout, man. That was the premier tournament back then.
Yeah,
So
it
now they
was.
have them all over the country, but that 7-up shootout, like my freshman year, we had my sophomore year, we had LaFonso Ellis, of course, and then we played Alonzo Mourning's team, and they ended up beating us by a couple points. Then my sophomore year, my junior year, we played, because I keep forgetting East St. Louis Lincoln started at the 10th grade. And then my junior year, we played Allen Houston from out of Kentucky. They were good. And then my senior year, we played California Mater Dei, who were number one in the country. So, man, those were phenomenal times. Now, we came up short all three times. But it was great experiences, man. At that time, you had the best of the best at that tournament in St. Louis, and it was a phenomenal event.
Yeah, I used to announce a bunch of those games on radio. That
Yes.
was tall cotton right there. Uh, I want to talk about some of the guys that have been doing a lot of good things for you, Des White and Vincent Brady, and your freshman Zaxton King. I mean, you've got a number of guys that have really been contributing, but this is going to be the first time that your team has been on the Matrix Midwest Game of the Week, and so tell us about some of those guys so fans can know who they're looking at and what they're going to see.
Well, Vincent Brady is a junior from out of Indianapolis who's playing really well for us right now. We kind of shift him from a wing to the point guard position due to Mose Rivers being hurt, so we put him at the point guard position. He's done a great job facilitating. He's a big enough guard where he can get downhill and make plays. And happy to see him playing very well. He just had, I think, 20, 24 against Southern, or 23 or 24. Then Des White, who's a guy from Jeff City, is a good all-around basketball player. Guy can really shoot at a high level. Playing very well, shoots the ball. It's really improved his ability to make plays, and he'll continue to grow as a basketball player. Then Zaxton King is a freshman from out of Lawrence, Kansas, who's playing good basketball for us as well. He started at the point guard position, but the last 2 or 3 games he's played well. I think he's led us in scoring, or first or second in scoring, because we moved him off the ball. Now he's able to move and rip and run, and that's been good for him as well. But three talented guys, but also 3 guys, when you look at their upbringing, the people that are around them, you can see why they're successful.
Playing Southern Illinois back to back, and what did you learn about the Salukis this weekend? What really makes them tick?
Well, I think like everybody we've played in this league, that they're one of the teams that in March they can finish strong and be right there, because Hensley played very well against us. Deva's a talented player. Kennard is a kid from out of Bashan High School. So, he's bigger than you think. When somebody say a guy's 6'6", they normally 6'3", 6'4". He's actually 6'6", 215 pounds. So he's got good size on him, good length on him. So they have the parts. Damian Mayo got a transfer from Missouri State, gave them key minutes. So, I mean, they're a good team. But I think what happened, sometimes you have to get over that mental hump when you're losing games, trying to find your way. You get continuity. Hopefully we can get back on stride here at our place.
You guys were down big, and you made a great comeback to force into overtime. I know no coaches aren't into like quote unquote moral victories, but you had to like the fight in your team in that second half.
Well, I think the fight part, that's who we have to beat all the time, whether we pick to finish first or last. You have to have that all the time. And the thing I've said it 1,000 times. When your shot isn't falling, you got to be able to defend, rebound, and play as hard as you can play. So you can count on those things. But yeah, our guys played with grit. Dez went down. Makai's guard went down with his thumb. I mean, we just found a way to get back in the game. Mike, our starting center, went out in foul trouble. They only played 19 minutes, but that's resiliency, that's grit within our guys, and we found a way, but came up short in the overtime.
What kinds of things do you do, Cuonzo, to help those players dig deep and find that fight?
It's simply that: dig deep, find the fight. I can show you. If you can see, I got a shovel right there. I got a shovel in my office. It's just dig deep, and that's just really life. Because again, every fan wants to win every game. I understand, so we understand that. But I've been a part of building programs, so I know what it feels like. I know what you go through. This is the first time I've ever been building with all 15 new guys. But you got to be able to dig deep. You got to be able to find a way. You have to be able to persevere through tough times. You got to come together, because oftentimes we see teams say 1, 2, 3, family. Well, you're only a family when adversity. What kind of family are we when adversity hits? So now when setbacks arrive, do we have enough grit to fight through storms? And again, Harry, I always try to equate it to life, like what's going on out in California. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we're losing basketball games. Things we can control, we continue to work to get better. You have people that lost lives and lost homes. And think about the pictures from when your child was born up until they were in college, and all this in the fire. You no longer have those memories. You no longer have the home you grew up in for 30 and 40 years. And we're sitting there talking about a basketball. We got to do this at the highest level possible. We got to work as hard as we can work. I got to maximize my skill and my ability, because, again, I'm able to go after this game eat a pizza, go back to my apartment or my dorm, whatever. Some people have nowhere to go. So again, it's just for me, it's a lifestyle. So if this is the hardest thing you'll go through in life, then that tells me you're gonna live a great life.
And so, final thought: teaching is a big part of your job, right? I mean, that's just so central to who you are.
But I just think, what's your worth if you're not teaching as a coach? I mean, that's where you get your worth. And it's like, and I tell the guys, don't be so tuned in to the destination that you forget the journey and all the miracles within the journey. That's joy within that journey. Man, I love the ups and downs and highs and lows because think about it as a coach, man, you struggling as a team, you got to continue to work. You got to continue to find ways. You got to continue to help guys get better. You got to continue to meet with them. You got to continue to talk. That's how you grow. That's how you get better. And you have to go through it. And it's just, and you got to live in this, man. This is a beautiful thing. When you're able to do this, keep getting better, you got to live and get better. And like I say to our guys, if you work as hard as you can work with a centralized focus on the task at hand, it will turn for you. And you got to have faith in the end.
Appreciate your time. That's Cuonzo Martin of the Missouri State Bears. Our Wednesday night coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central. For more information on where you can catch the games, head to mvc-sports.com. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Harry Schroeder.